Reading of the Donald Canestraro file. This is from CS3 and CS5. And these are very important, actually. So CS3 recalled that from January of 1999 until May of 2003, he was assigned as an FBI special agent to the CIA station to handle all matters concerning Osama bin Laden, herein referred to as the Osama bin Laden station, codename Alex Station. CS3 stated that sometime in 2000, while he was assigned to UBL station, she, and another FBI agent became aware that two suspected terrorists, Nawaf al-Hazmi and Khalid al-Mihdhar, had multiple entry visas to enter the United States. CS3 stated that the two hijackers ultimately made their way to the United States, and that prior to entering the United States, the CIA had tracked the above individuals to Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia. Now, let me just fill you in how they found out about this. The NSA had been monitoring Osama bin Laden's satellite phones during the early 1990s. And a number they found out that kept calling Osama bin Laden was this house in Yemen. This house in Yemen was owned by Ahmed al-Hadi. In December of 1999, the NSA became aware of an individual named Khalid who told Khalid, who later was known to be Khalid al-Mihdhar, about a meeting in Malaysia. Now, the NSA, they don't do human intelligence. They only do signals intelligence. So they told the CIA about this. Now, the CIA also had an analyst working with the NSA who informed Michael Scheuer, the head of the CIA's, he was the chief of the Bin Laden issue station in 1996. It told them about this line in Yemen that they had. So the CIA wanted, full custody and told them, the NSA, about giving them all the transcripts, but the NSA didn't do that. Scheuer was later replaced by Richard Blee, and Blee became chief of station at the CIA. He was more of a company man than Scheuer was. Well, although Scheuer was more qualified in the area of Islamic fundamentalism than Blee was. CS3 stated that the two hijackers attended what CS3 described as a high-level meeting with members of Al-Qaeda and also Jemaah Islamiyah, which is an Al-Qaeda affiliate located in Indonesia. One of the co-leaders of Jemaah Islamiyah is Ridwan Isamuddin, who goes by the name Degur Hambali, who's currently in Guantanamo. According to CS3, after the meeting, Nawaf al-Hazmi and Khalid al-Mihdhar then traveled to the United States via Bangkok, Thailand. Now, let me blow this up a little more. CS3 stated that his or her colleague at UBL station, whose identity is known to me, prepared a Central Intelligence Report, also a CIR, it's known as CIR, outlining the possible presence of al-Hazmi al-Mihdhar in the United States. CS3 stated that after the CIA was prepared, he attempted to send it to the FBI. Now, that other agent he's talking about is Doug Miller. CS3 is Mark Rossini. CS3 said after the CIA was prepared, he attempted to send it to the FBI, where it would eventually be forwarded to agents for action. CS3 recalled that a CIA analyst, whose identity is known to me and is herein referred to as the cryptonym VVV, told him, per the deputy head of UBL station, that he is not to distribute the CIR to anyone outside of UBL station. Now, VVV is Michelle Ann Casey. Now, Michelle Ann Casey is one of the analysts at UBL station. She is also the lead at the Yemen hub. She's the lead analyst in charge of the Yemen hub. CSD related that he passed this information to his FBI counterpart at UBL station, Doug Miller, and as a result, the CIR was not sent. The counterpart is Doug Miller. Doug Miller is the one who tried to send it to headquarters, was denied because it's CIA information. And by law, they can't pass information without CIA approving it. But the CIA was running an illegal operation inside the United States with Saudi intelligence regarding al-Mihdhar and al-Hazmi. This is the reason why they didn't want that information passed, because they didn't want the FBI to basically interfere with CIA operations. Because CIA would get in trouble, big trouble. DCI Tenant would be fired. Kofor Black, head of the CTC, would be fired. James Pavitt, director of operations, DOO, would be fired. CIA would be in big trouble. However, according to CS3, FBI records showed that VVV never visited FBI headquarters as she claimed to pass the information to agents. Now, VVV, now wait a minute. I'm going to be wrong here. VVV is not Michelle Ann Casey. It's Alfreda Ann Bukowski. Because Bukowski basically said to a closed commission hearing that she passed this information to the FBI and she visited the FBI. BVV is it for Alfreda Ampikowski. That's right. My mistake. Sorry about that. Because Bukowski was the one who said that she walked over the information to the FBI, to FBI headquarters, but there's no record of her. It's not Michelle Ann Casey. CS3 stated that a search of the FBI files showed no record of the CIR. However, according to CS3, the document was located by CIA officials in their computer system sometime after 9/11 during an Inspector General's investigation into the events leading up to 9/11 attacks. According to CS3, the CIA Inspector General also obtained copies of instant messages from the deputy head of the UBL station, which is Tom Wilshire, two unnamed persons that corroborate CS3's account of the events leading to 9/11. So Mark Rossini told the truth. Mark Rossini is an important whistleblower in my lifetime, and I'll continue to rehash this message that Rossini is trying to as well. Not enough people are doing it. I wish more did. It's important because it shows that the CIA has malfeasance. CS3 stated that he was interviewed about the events prior to 9/11 hijackings sometime in 2002 by representatives of the Joint Congressional Inquiry into 9/11 attacks. And it was a closed-door hearing. CS3 stated that before he and his colleague, FBI colleague, were interviewed, he was told by CIA officials at UBL station not to cooperate fully with congressional investigators. And Mark Rossini was fearful of backlash by the CIA on a judicial merit, because Rossini had CIA information and was not supposed to share it, not even to a congressional inquiry. So the CIA is basically interfering with the congressional investigation. How come nobody got in trouble for this? CS3 stated that the justification the CIA used for the above was that the investigators were looking to hang someone for the events of 9/11. Well, there you go. They didn't want anybody interfering with their investigation. But they did. CIA right here did. In their own words. Where is the 9/11 truth movement talking about this? No, nobody is. The people that once did, like Paul Thompson, Kevin Fett, they're long gone. CS3 also stated that CIA personnel told him that congressional officials were not clear for access to information regarding activities at UBL station. The only old school people that are still talking about is John Gold. That's it. Now the new kids on the block, we're trying to spread the message. CS3 also stated that CIA personnel told them that congressional officials were not clear for access to information regarding activities at UBL station. Why not? Don't they have precedent? They're acting on behalf of Congress. So in other words, the State Department ordered the Department of Justice not to investigate matters regarding Saudi Arabia. The CIA interfering with congressional investigation regarding their illegal operation with Saudi officials and the government regarding Khalid al-Mihdhar and Nawaf al-Hazmi. And then, of course, the Israeli operation, nobody's covering it. Whether the CIA knew, the FBI knew, the NSA knew, I don't know, because they're not talking about it. Maybe they didn't know. Were the Israelis acting on their own? Well, how the fuck did they know? Because they were living in close proximity to all the hijackers, according to the Gerald Shea Memorandum. According to CS3, the CIA had an officer in the room while he was being interviewed by the congressional investigators. Just like when the 9/11 Commission went to Riyadh, Saudi Arabia, and interviewed Fahad al-Tameri and Omar al-Bayoumi. I'm sorry, Fahad al-Tameri. He was in a room with Saudi officials. Why? Because they were watching what he has to say. Now, why would they care about what he has to say? Because he might relay some information that the government doesn't want released. Maybe the CIA doesn't want Mark Rossini to talk about the CIA knowing that al-Hazmi and al-Mihdhar are in the United States, because that means they would have to interview who? The lead analyst for the Yemen hub, Michelle Ann Casey, and the station chief, Richard Blee. By the way, where was Blee and Michelle Ann Casey? They were in Afghanistan. And according to the Canestraro document later on, It was intentional. Gary Bernstein, who was heading a CIA operation called Operation Jawbreaker with the U.S. Special Forces, Army Mountain Rangers, the CIA Special Activities Division, headed by Hank Crumpton, replaced Bernstein with who? Richard Blee and Michelle Ann Casey. Why? So they wouldn't have to investigate, so they wouldn't have to face congressional inquiries. There you have CIA interfering with congressional investigation. And who was celebrating it? George Tenet, the DCI, and James Pavitt, Director of Operations, because somebody heard it. Somebody from the CIA heard it and told Donald Canestraro. Anybody talking about it? Where are you, Jimmy Dore? Where are you, Tim Pool? Where are you, all media? Gray Zone covered it slightly. At least they did. Even fucking Richard Gage on the God forbid fucking reprehensible show, Stu Peters. Even he did. Fuck. I'm mad because all these bigwigs, these big people, I hate the CIA, we're going to run. Here you have one of the biggest malfeasance ever in CIA history, probably the biggest, and nobody covered it. Nobody fucking covered it. Dave Smith, does he even know about it? I'd love to talk with him about it. CS3 stated that when he was questioned by the CIA's own Inspector General about the events prior to 9/11, he did not mention the CIR, as he had no lawyer present and was concerned with the legal ramifications of the CIA not being passed to the FBI because it's CIA information. If he told the Joint Inquiry about, or the 9/11 Commission about this CIR, since it's CIA information, because Rossini had no lawyer, he didn't want to get arrested. He didn't want to get in legal ramifications. He didn't want to get legal trouble. Can't blame him. I blame the CIA for this. Okay. I'm going to make myself disappear. Yeah, I'll make myself disappear for this so you can read it. CS3 recalled that shortly after the 9/11 attacks, he approached one of his supervisors, an FBI special agent whose identity is known to me, and told him about the existence of the CIR. CS3 stated that his supervisor asked him if he was sure that the CIR had been drafted. Now, I'm trying to think that this might be Pat DeMoro. I'm not sure, but I think the CIR was given to this person and then was passed to Pat DeMoro. That's right. I forgot the name of this special agent. The special agent sent it to Pat DeMoro. And DeMoro said, does anybody know about this? And the special agent said no and says he'll take care of it. Nothing happened. CS3 stated that he left his supervisor's office and returned with a draft of the CIR that he had obtained from another FBI agent at UBL station. According to CS3, the supervisor read the draft and immediately called the counterterrorism official at FBI headquarters with news of the CIR's existence. That's Pat DeMoro. According to CS3, his supervisor then quickly drove to headquarters with the draft CIR to meet the official in the parking lot of the Hoover building to give him a copy of the CIR. CS3 stated that he was unsure what happened to the draft CIR after it was given to the headquarters official. The headquarters official is Pat DeMoro. Sometime after he was interviewed by the CIA's Inspector General, CS3 was questioned by investigators from the FBI's Office of Professional Responsibility. CS3 stated that he told OPR investigators about the existence of the CIR and how CIA officials had ordered him not to distribute the document to the FBI. CS3 stated that he believed at the time that the CIA prevented the distribution of CIR as the agency did not want the FBI interfering with a CIA operation that was being run domestically in violation of U.S. law. CS3 explained that two suspected al-Qaeda terrorists were living in San Diego, California during the year 2000. Now, who knew about this? Saudi government officials, the FBI, the CIA, the NSA, and unwittingly an FBI agent in San Diego, Steve Butler, who had an FBI informant, Abdussadah Sheikh, codenamed Stan, a longtime FBI informant in Orange County, who just so happened to rent a room to who? Khalid Al-Mihdhar in the Waffle House, and didn't tell Butler about it. Only told him their first names. They said that they're good Saudi people. Now, I can't prove anything about Abdus Sheikh and having connections to the Saudi government because that information is not available to me. But my goodness, what a coinky dink. CS3 stated that Omar al-Bayoumi was working for the Saudi intelligence service when he approached al-Hazmi al-Mihdhar in San Diego after meeting them in Los Angeles with Fahad al-Thameri. According to CS3, al-Bayoumi set up bank accounts, which was assisted by an imam in San Diego and in Virginia named Anwar al-Awlaki, who Obama killed in 2000, I think, 8 or not. No, I'm sorry, 2011 with a drone strike. The first U.S. citizen to be killed by a drone strike without a warrant. Also killed his son, by the way, separately. 2 U.S. citizens, by the way. Obama did this because he termed them terrorists. But what evidence did they have? Even though he probably could have been right. Al-Awlaki could have been. But he was never designated a terrorist by the Department of Justice on a legal basis. CS3 stated that this was done at the behest of the CIA through the Saudi intelligence service. Now we know through the Canestraro document that that's true. And also Project Operation Encore, the FBI file. According to CS3, prior to the 9/11 attacks, the CIA was under pressure to recruit informants within Al-Qaeda. Responding to this pressure, VVV and her colleagues at the CIA were attempting to recruit al-Hazmi al-Mihdhar in a liaison relationship with the Saudi General Intelligence Directorate, the GID. Who was the director of the GID at the time? Prince Turki al-Faisal. CS3 further explained that the operation was being run by CIA analysts rather than case officers. CS3 stated that normally officers trained in covert operations ran human sources at the CIA, but this wasn't a normal operation because the entire Bin Laden issue station was organized by analysts. Usually, the people who get the information are called field officers. There's 2 types of people at the CIA: analysts, field officers. No such thing as agents. Remember that. Field officers are at stations all around the world. The CIA has stations all in every single city in the world. They have field officers that go and collect information through human intelligence, right? That information is then shared to the analysts back in the United States, who then process that information and hand it to who? Management. However, in the case of the 2 hijackers living in San Diego, CS3 told me that a team of analysts ran the operation inside the United States, not field officers. CS3 stated that had the FBI been informed about the possible presence of 2 al-Qaeda operatives in the United States, the investigation would have ultimately been turned over to the New York field office sometime in 2000 for further action and possible disruption of the 9/11 plot. CS3 further explained that the FBI agents in the field would have most likely targeted following al-Hazmi al-Mihdhar with electronic and physical surveillance during the course of a terror investigation. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to stop there because I don't want this to be a long video. I do want this to be a video where it's, manageable. So I'll continue with CS5 later in a later video. All right. Listen, thank you very much for watching. And I'll continue to do daily videos every single day. Thank you for watching. Have a good night, everybody.